La 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 la. Hey everyone, Tony Winston here, Jazz Piano College. I got it. And I want to thank especially my folks over there on Patreon, but also the folks who have supported the channel one way or the other. Just the like, the subscribe, the comments, the PayPals occasionally, the Patreon. I couldn't have done it without the people over on Patreon because they're really the ones who've kept this channel going, and not only with their financial contributions, but with their great requests and suggestions and things like that. So anyway, join me over there on Patreon if you get a chance. I'm going to do a song today in a mellow tone. I put this up in A flat, but this one's more for beginners, and it's got a little something to do with rhythm here. All kinds of people have problems with rhythm, especially when it comes to playing jazz. So we're going to simplify it a little bit and just keep these chords kind of going like this. But the right hand will have some kicks, all right? And since the melody is very repetitive, it should be pretty easy. No, wait a minute, I did something wrong. Okay. So let's start like this. We'll hit an A7 chord just to get us started. And then we'll start. Okay, that was the song with what we call barrel house piano, but it's similar to like what Freddie Green would play on the guitar with Count Basie Orchestra, just kind of keeping that rhythm going right along with the bass player. You don't have to keep it that steady, but the important thing is if you're keeping it steady, you've got two kicks here. Those two right there, bop, ba, and it's pretty much the same in every other measure like that. So your right hand and left hand will not play at the same time there. Together, but then that one kind of hits in between, and so does that one. So, right, and because we're swinging the rhythm, it's pretty close. If I wasn't swinging, it's just going da 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 da, but it's more like da 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 da. So ba right there. Ba all right. All right. That might be a good exercise if you're not quite getting it. So you just go. and then da 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 da, and then just do that with your hands on the keyboard. Okay, now just some little hints about improvising. We're in the key of C, and I had a really good question the other day. Somebody was asking about, accidentals. Now, accidentals are sharps and flats. So like if you see a D7, do you follow the key signature, which has no sharps or flats, or is the chord symbol not really paying attention to the key signature? Well, that's the right way. The chord symbol, you don't have to really consider the key signature unless you're dealing with like the Roman numerals and stuff like that where they don't indicate major or minor. Then you have to know, like if it's a 2 chord, it's usually minor and that kind of thing. And here's a 2 chord, that's usually a minor 7th, but in this case it's a dominant 7th, and it has the F sharp in it, which is not in the key signature. So it doesn't matter what key signature it is. If you see a D7, it's got to be this. All right, or any other way of playing it. There's hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of ways to do it. You can put the notes all over the place. That's D7. And also, D7, you can add 9ths, 13ths, sharp 11ths, things like that to the chord as well. So there's really a million ways to play it. But it will never be like this, because that's D minor 7th, no matter what key you're in. All right. Now, most of these chords are within the key signature of C major, which has no sharps and flats. But you see when we get to C 7th, we have an inversion there. That's the chord. B flat's not in the key signature, but that's okay. A C 7th always will have those notes in it. Or sometimes the 5th is left out. Sometimes the root is left out, and then it's really hard to tell sometimes what the chord is. But and this is just an inversion where we took the bottom 2 notes and moved them up here, and then the other 2 are there. Okay, now a little bit about improvisation. Mostly use the white keys, but you can always do things like bend notes, right? You can always bend notes. You can follow the notes of the chord and even add some extensions like that. So if you're going to do a scale, try to get the notes that are in the chord. Sometimes you'll find another note that sounds pretty cool. All right. And as you're on the dominant chord, this is the official dominant chord. D7 is also a dominant chord, but this is the dominant chord in the key of C. I don't know if you call it a primary dominant or what. This is a secondary dominant, but this is the chord that appears on the 5th degree of the scale, a G7. As you're getting to G7 and C, you can use some blues, all right? And so we're bending that 3rd up there, and we're going to skip over the 4th because it's always a problem. Not really, but it can be. We're going to put the 6th in like that. So this is a good scale. And even if you're on the G chord, see, it works very nicely. Now another scale you could use would be the actual blues scale, which you probably already know. But in this song, since it's got so many major 6 chords, you might want to go ahead and add that E back into the scale, or use any of these notes. Those are all in one of the blues scales or one or the other. And really just have fun and don't think too much about the scales. Just find the things that sound good. And I'll give you a few little advanced concepts here. So first scale. All right, so I put that flat 5 in. All right, that's one of the notes jazz was built on, so that'll always work on a dominant chord, or usually as a kind of a passing tone. Yeah, did it on G as well. A little bit of blues. Now here's G minor. You can use all the white keys, but we need to put in a B flat instead of a B, so. And here we are on F. Now, the bebop scale would be an F major scale with a passing tone here, but I put the passing tone there, and you can put it in lots of different places, like there. And then, when you get to F minor 6, and you can stay on that for the whole measure, by the way. You don't have to go to B flat, because it's the same thing, really. There's B flat 7th, F minor 6, pretty much the same. That's a scale you can use, F minor, right? And then just make the rest of it like the major scale. All right, A. This would be a good place to, try a bunch of other things out. So I do A major scale, sharp the 4, like that. Call it a flat 5, really, but it's weird. If it's part of the scale, that's the sharp 4, but if you're doing it as part of the chord, it's usually thought of as the flat 5, or the sharp 11, which is like a sharp 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, that's also the 11, if you count from there. Sharp it, you got that. Okay, and I did a little demonstration of a fairly simple solo there. Like I say, it's pretty easy to find good notes to play. Then start thinking about rhythm. What can you do? Little patterns. Let's start at the beginning again. Right. So 1 and 2 and 3, 4 and 1 and 3 and 4 and. See, if you do that little pattern, it comes out in a different spot in every measure. So it's kind of cool. Let me try that again from the beginning. See all those off beats? So that is I'm doing triplets, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, but I'm using 4 notes. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, it creates a polyrhythm. See, isn't that cool? Da 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 boom. Okay, good song. Chart, of course, is down there in the description. It is 100% free, and that's it. See you again soon.